Hello and welcome to another book talk with the Massanutten Regional Library. I'm Miss Stephanie, one of the librarians in the Youth Services Department, and today I have some books by one of my favorite young adult authors, Rainbow Rowell. And she's written books for both adults and young adults, and I've just done a small sampling of what she's written. And so let's start by talking about Eleanor and Park. And Eleanor and Park is set in 1986, and it is the story of obviously Eleanor and Park. And how they meet is really sweet and very unique. So Eleanor has moved back to Nebraska, and she's in a new school, and she's in a bad situation with her creepy stepfather and having four brothers and sisters and a mom who doesn't really, to be honest, support her. And she's on the bus, and people are giving her a hard time giving a seat. And then we have Park, who is a quiet, typical teenager, and he finally just tells her to sit down next to him. And so then it just becomes a habit. Every day they sit next to each other, and then Eleanor starts reading his comics over his shoulder. And then Park starts bringing more for her to share, for them to share together. And then they start listening to music together on the bus, and it just evolves into this, such a sweet romance. And it's just great because Park learns to look outside himself and to realize that everyone doesn't have the same ideal family situation as, and Eleanor finds the strength through Park and the support to leave her bad situation by the end of the book. And so what I like about it is it's very realistic. The romance happens like gradually, naturally. I like how they bond over nerdy things, and there's a lot of 80s references in there, which is kind of a nice retro look at it. And I will say this book can get a little gritty, especially with the abuse by Eleanor's stepfather, but I think it's kind of like a contrast between like Eleanor and Park's pure love versus like this horrible, degrading abuse that Eleanor suffers with her stepfather. So I highly recommend it. I think it is a touching tale of perfect love amidst imperfect circumstances. And then the next book we're going to talk about is called Fangirl. And Fangirl talks about a character named Kath. She has a twin sister named Ren, and they are about to go off to college. But Ren decides that she wants to be more independent, and she thinks that Kath's trying to drag her down. And so Kath feels like she's handling college by herself, and she's really shy. She's panic attacks. She's just very scared of anything new. And how she copes with it is she writes fan fiction. And it's a fantasy series called Simon Snow, and she's working on this huge, massive fan fiction novel to coincide with the 8-book release in that series. And so she kind of has herself cocooned in college, but things kind of like threaten to get rid of her cocoon, like burst through her cocoon. She's got a surly roommate, she's got a mysterious writing partner in her English class, and she's got her roommate's boyfriend seems to be very interested in her fan fiction and also in her. And so we just like read about how Kath deals with these situations. It's a really fun, like I think Kath is my favorite character of all the books we're talking about. She's very relatable, she's smart, she's perceptive, she's witty, but she's got a lot of like anxieties about a relationship with her twins, her loving but sick father, and it depicts like mental illness really well, like with the anxiety attack, and her dad is bipolar. And I just really found it really realistic and really, it wasn't like stereotypes, it was just very relatable. And I just thought also that Rainbow Rowell included excerpts of Kath's fan fiction throughout the novel, and it was like really nice because you see how Kath is relating to her circumstances by pouring it out to her fan fiction, and I thought that was a really nice touch as well because you could learn more about Kath through her writing. So definitely recommended. A very interesting, fun story that it does drag a little bit in paces, but Rowell writes the character so well that by the end you don't really notice. And then the last book I'm going to talk about is called Carry On, and this is actually after Rainbow Rowell wrote Fangirl, she decided to actually write the actual novel that Kath was writing in that book, Carry On. And this is the story of Simon Snow. Now, you may think this is just going to be a Harry Potter ripoff because there's a magical school, there's an evil threatening to destroy the magical world. It's the magical world is separate from the normals, and there is a chosen one. However, This chosen one is really bad at his job. He's not very good at magic. His name is Simon Snow, as I mentioned earlier, and he is just trying to make his way through his last year at Wapfer, which is the magical school in this book. It is set in Great Britain as well, and this is kind of more gritty, more realistic. There's a lot of differences once you get into the book that you'll notice between this and Harry Potter. Both are great, but there are some differences. Like, I think the biggest one is the magical system. Like, you can actually take phrases like nursery rhymes and song lyrics and turn them into spells, which is really interesting because it involves, like, you can, rather than just simply memorizing spells, you have to find phrases and words and you have to apply them to a situation. And it's just like, and even one like they use a nursery rhyme to defeat a dragon, which is really interesting. So Simon's just trying to get through his school year with his best friend Penelope and his girlfriend Agatha, but he's got some problems. The main one being that the insidious humdrum is trying to destroy the world and Simon has no clue how to stop him. Then he thinks his roommate is a vampire who has mysteriously disappeared the first part of the school year. And then he's visited by a mysterious figure from the other world who wants to have her death avenged and her murderer found to justice. So he's got a lot going on. And I think it's great that, like, it's such an enchanted world. I love the unique magical system going on. I like how this book is split between multiple perspectives, because unlike in Harry Potter, you just almost entirely get Harry's perspective, but in this you get Simon's, you get Boz, which is his roommate, and you get Penelope and Agatha's and a couple other characters mixed in the bunch. And so it's a really interesting book, and the best part is Rainbow Rowell wrote sequels. The first one is called Wayward Son, and this talks about Simon, Boz, and Penelope's adventures in the United States. And then this one is called Any Way the Wind Blows, and this talks about a new threat to the magical world, the world of mages. And this actually just got published this summer, and we have all of these books available at the Massanutten Regional Library. And I hope you find one or all of them that will fit your reading needs. And so thank you for joining me for this book talk. I look forward to sharing more books with you soon. Have a good day. Bye.